friends, just got back from the grocery store using the grocery list and the MV Wellness Success Playbook, so that way we can now roll right into our meal prep hack, helping you get all of this done in less than 90 minutes. So run a stop clock, make sure we get this done in under 90 minutes. Alright, the very first thing that we need to do is we don't put anything away. We're going to go right over to the oven, and we're going to turn the oven on, and we're going to say bake, and we're going to say 400 degrees. And then we need to hit start. Because if not, the oven is going to turn itself off, and we're going to take way more than 90 minutes. So step number one, come in, groceries down, don't put them away yet. Turn the oven on to bake at 400, and make sure you start that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on some music, because I like to have music. You could also listen to a podcast, something motivational. I'm going to go with some music. Let's see what's on the old Pandora these days. Let's go with, let's see. That's a little aggressive for cooking, so that's good for working out. But let's go with Elton John radio. So play a little Elton John in the background. Perfect. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our poultry and our potatoes and get them ready to rock and roll. But really what I want to do is go over the actual grocery haul, and you heard me reference it, but where I got my groceries from was obviously I printed off my PDF, I put it into a beautiful 3-ring binder, I made sure that I had the meal plan that was appropriate for me and where I am with my weight, and then I went to the page behind the meal plan, went to the Ultimate Grocery Helper, and I literally took this to the store with me and systematically picked off the foods that I needed to get me through the entire week. This meal prep series is to help you get through a week. So that grocery helper list is meant to help you identify what you need to get through an entire week. Now, if you like to go twice a week, that's perfectly fine, but we need to make sure that we use that grocery list because it breaks it down into your proteins, your carbohydrates, your fats that you need in order to make sure that you're following the meal plan as it's written. So alright, let's see what we have. We have our chicken, right? Protein, that's going to go right into the glass here real soon. We have 3 pounds of ground beef. So big thing is we're making sure that we're buying enough to get us through the entire week. Another really good go-to are these tuna packets, right? The program says cans of tuna. Let's step it up a notch. Just buy these pouches. They're easier to bring with you, and you don't have to have a can opener. So really high in protein. Make sure, pro tip, make sure you're getting the ones that are in water, not in oil. The ones in oil are going to have many more calories, which is not going to help us with what we're trying to do, which is be happier and healthier. So I'm going to put these right away. Pop them right in my nice organized kitchen cabinets. Thanks to Jennifer for doing that. I have some instant rice, but I'm also going to do some rice that we have to cook manually on the stove. But as a little pro tip, a little time saver, these cups of instant rice are already pre-measured to be 1 cup, so they're a great time saver. I also have a salmon packet, so a little variation. We do want you to have white fish, but if every time to time you want to have some salmon, you can get these as well. One of my favorites, my friends, couscous is on the list, right? Now, we don't just say, hey, I love couscous and so do you. We say, hey, what is the appropriate serving size for my meal plan? So that way we don't go, man, I went through 1 pound of couscous in 2 days. No dice, no good. So couscous is good, but a pound of it, not so good. All right, last thing we have in here is some spaghetti sauce and pasta sauce, because if you look on your list, this is not the Atkins diet, this is not a no-carb diet, this is a lower carbohydrate diet, so you can have pasta. So that's why we have the tomato sauce. All right, moving over here to these other lovely bags of groceries. Olive oil, one of our things that we had on the list. AA or AAA batteries, very high in protein. Just kidding, I need them for the food scale that we're going to talk about in a little bit. We needed some for home as well. So that was just an additional add-on item that was on the grocery list, which is good, right? If you go to the grocery store, you pick up other things that you need other than just food. Brazil nuts, one of my favorite nuts to go to. Again, be careful when we're having these because you'll see they fall into the fat category, which means that you need to have these in very small doses. If you just said, I love Brazil nuts, I love almonds, I love cashews, that's a real fast way to add calories to your diet. So you can have nuts, but you're going to notice that it's going to be a small serving at a time. Makes sense, right? Calorically dense food, we need to make sure we have it in moderation. Oh baby, check this one out. Same idea. Peanut butter. This is one that gets people in trouble from time to time. We just talked about it. Nuts are calorically dense. meaning that the amount of calories in a small serving is very, very high. So you're going to find out what a true tablespoon or teaspoon of peanut butter looks like versus an ice cream scooping, right? But peanut butter is fine to have in moderation and follow your plan. You're going to hear me say this many, many times. The more you follow the plan to a T, the faster or more dramatic the results will be. It rhymes, right? The more you follow the plan to a T, the more dramatic the results will be. If you don't follow the plan, it's going to fall flat. That didn't rhyme, but you see where I'm going. All right, we have Kerrygold butter, so we can have that. Again, that falls into our fat category. One of my personal favorites, you probably can't see, I'll tear the bag open, is a bag of avocados. Superfood, great for your brain, but again, high-fat food, so we have to be careful that we don't go, hey, I had 5 avocados for breakfast. I'm going to be the smartest, healthiest individual in the world, but I gained 9 pounds. Don't do that. Avocados, again, weigh them, measure them, serve them up one at a time. All right, another food that I love. Again, take it out of the plastic here, pears. Now you may notice, like, John, that's a lot of pears. You're right, because in your carbohydrate column for breakfast, it says you can have, depending on your plan, a half a piece of fruit all the way up to a full piece of fruit. This would be a full piece of fruit. If I cut it in half, that would be a half a piece of fruit. I love pears. They're great. They hold up pretty well. You can take them around wherever you need to go. So we have some pears. I also bought 7 so that I have enough for the entire week. And then we have a bag of brown rice. I also bought, check it out, instant rice. Both going to be very good. This is a little bit more expensive because there's more packaging and it's pre-measured. This is much, much cheaper, but you have to cook a bunch, as we're going to do here later on in this video. So again, both very good. Depend, what does your budget look like? How much time do you want to save? Is that time savings worth the expense, right? So you pick out which is going to work better for you. You take this bag, and my assistant over here is going to take that bag and take it away. All right, moving on to the next bag. Oh baby, bell peppers. So if you look at your vegetable list, you'll see it says any vegetable in any amount with the exception of some things like carrots, squash. There's some foods in there that just tend to be a little bit higher in their sugar content, but bell peppers are a great one. My beautiful wife Jennifer, this is her go-to snack. She walks around the house and she munches on bell peppers, and just by proximity, guess who started doing that? I did, and I love them. So we got a bag of bell peppers. I think there's 5 or 6 in there. Great food. It also gives you that little bit of crunch. So people are always like, I want something that's got some crunch to it. Bell peppers are a great way to go. Angel hair pasta, right? I thought I had angel hair, and then I saw this pasta. Angel hair pasta, again, on our meal plan, falls under the carbohydrate column. And if I just said, ooh, baby, angel hair pasta, I'm going to cook this whole entire thing, I'm going to be way over my calories. You take a look and see, based on your meal plan, right? This is really crucial that you follow the right meal plan and cook up the appropriate serving size of your pasta. I'll put that next to the pasta sauce, right? That makes sense. Pasta goes with pasta sauce. Moving down, again, double bag them because they usually poke a hole and fall over the place if I don't. But my friend, the sweet potato, we'll be throwing these in the oven here really shortly. Great, great food. I don't peel them. I like the skin. Some individuals don't like the skin, so if you do not like the skin, then obviously you can peel them. But we're going to bake them today, and I'm going to bake them with the skin on there. I think the skin is actually very tasty. My wife disagrees, so maybe after this I'll peel a couple. So let me put my sweet potatoes right here for the time being. All right, what else do we have in this bag? Another great one. Our friend, the cucumber. The meal prep for a cucumber is super, super easy. Eat it. Or you could also peel it and trim it and throw it in a bowl. I like it with a little bit of salt on it. Again, we want simplicity, so things that don't take a long time, right? The whole idea is that you can get your week's meal prep done in under 90 minutes, and I'm very confident you can do it well under 90 minutes. So the cucumbers are great. Again, I like them with the skin on them. You don't have to eat them like an absolute savage, but you can. Assistant, paper bag removal. All right, getting to the last bag. We have a lot of vegetables. If you guys have noticed on that meal plan, there's a green piece of that pie with every single meal that you see, which means veggies, veggies, and more veggies. So you can buy heads of broccoli, that's perfectly fine. I'll buy them frozen so that I can steam them, and green beans. Again, make sure that we're just picking vegetables that are in that column on the green. We're not going for carrots, corn, squash, pumpkin, things that tend to be a little bit higher in sugar. And that is my grocery haul, except for some more broccoli, and then a couple more protein sources. We had eggs prior to this shooting, but we did not have egg whites. So again, for ease and simplicity, now we have just pure egg whites. You can do the old-fashioned crack, put the yolk in the egg, crack back and forth. That's really time consuming. Highly recommend if you're gonna go the egg white route, you just buy egg whites. We also have eggs in the refrigerator, so I didn't need to buy an 18 pack, but if I were going to shop for the week, I would buy at least one 18 pack, if not even more, so it gets me through the entire week. All right, two of my favorites, here we go. Again, based on your ability to digest and be comfortable having dairy, Greek yogurt, it is non-fat and it's plain. Be careful when we buy the Greek yogurts. We don't want to get ones that have a lot of added flavors to them. You can, if we look at our meal plan and say, hey, maybe for breakfast, I'm going to do some Greek yogurt, which would be my protein, and I'm going to throw a serving of berries onto my Greek yogurt and naturally sweeten it, versus buying ones that are higher in fat and higher additional calories because they've been sweetened. So non-fat, plain Greek yogurt, really, really good, high in protein. And then we have our fat-free cottage cheese. Based on your ability, like I said, to digest and feel comfortable with dairy, those are great go-tos. I'll show you right here in the cabinet. You can also see two different brands of protein, Pro 7 and another one which is Ascent. Both of those are on your protein list, so great way to get protein in. Also, in between your meals, you know that you have a required snack, aka shake, a protein shake. So having a jug of protein or a bag of protein is definitely going to behoove you during this process. So my assistant will take that bag, make it disappear, and now we're going to move into actually a little bit more of the meal prep. Some things that will make the meal prep easier for you, some great tools to have around the house are, let's start with a food scale. This is a really, really good tool when it comes time to, hey, portioning out our foods, right? As I cook all of it, I'm not going to be worried about cooking or weighing the chicken breast before I cook it, or weighing each individual potato before I cook it, right? That's unnecessary. But as I'm done, I want to make sure as I'm divvying it out into my meal trays or into my Tupperware that I have a good understanding, because that's the crux of all of this. If I have 24 ounces of chicken when I'm supposed to have 6 ounces of chicken, my caloric intake will be too high, and again, I'm going to slow down the process to being happier and healthier. So a food scale is a great, great tool. Having a very, very sharp knife that I'm not going to run my fingers along the edge, I'm going to be very careful with this, is a very good tool to have. Along with your knife, kind of goes hand in hand, a good cutting board, right? So as we're cutting through chicken, potatoes, and all different things, we have a surface that's not going to dull the knife, makes it a little bit safer for us. If you don't already have them, some different styles of measuring cups. So a liquid measuring cup and then a dry measuring cup. These will both, you'll see me use these here real shortly when we transition into the rice, but obviously there's more measuring cups than just the one cup. We pulled this one out for today. And then your liquid measuring cup. Other things along the lines, right? Other utensils are always good. Meal prep trays, 3-compartment trays are awesome. You can grab them right on Amazon. And a fresh set of Tupperware, so that when everything is cooked, you can then put it right into your Tupperware. And you can label it. You can even go as far as saying Monday breakfast, Monday lunch, Monday dinner. All right, let's get back into more of the hands-on actual meal prep. We've been going for probably 10 or 15 minutes of just listening to me talk. So when you guys do this in real life, you're going to bypass that because you're going to watch this video and just go right to work. So if we go back to what our third step was, it was to take the potatoes and the poultry and then get them into the oven. So I'm going to start with the potatoes, and I'm going to come over to the oven. And very simple, I'm going to lay my potatoes in a big glass baking dish. I'm not going to break it, so I'm not going to dump them all in there like maybe I would if I was in a little bit of a hurry. But I'm going to take my time. I'm going to lay them right in there. And for this dish right now, it's going to be able to comfortably hold 5. So I may come back and I may do these other 2 later. Maybe I'll do them later in the week. So I'm going to set those down. The potatoes are going to go into the oven. Very straightforward. I'll put them on the top shelf. I'll set them in there. I'll close the oven. Now I'm going to work on this week's poultry. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to exit stage left and catch you back over to the oven in a second. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my chicken, come back over to the oven. And I have some different spices. I'm gonna grab a knife just to open up the edge of the chicken. So I'll see you guys in a second. So same idea here. I'm gonna keep the seasoning very basic, and I can re-season it down the road when I eat it. I can put some different things on it in accordance to the meal plan. Because if you go, man, this chicken sure looks tasty, you know, it'd be even better, a big dollop of Thousand Island dressing, some creamy ranch dressing. Again, you're just piling calories onto what it could be and should be a very healthy and calorically intelligent meal. So I'm gonna do the traditional John chicken plop. Just like that, my friends. I'm gonna put this chicken wrapper in the garbage. Highly recommend for all you husbands out there or aspiring husbands, don't make a mess of the kitchen and leave it for your wife or your girlfriend to pick up. Be a responsible meal prepper and clean up behind yourself. Your wife will appreciate it. Your girlfriend may someday become your wife because of that. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate the chicken just a little bit because the patented John plop of the chicken has it all in one piece. And then I'm gonna show you the how to become a chef. You didn't even know this was a bonus. How to become a world-class chef in 4 seconds. So number 1, we're gonna start with pink Himalayan sea salt. Couple quick sprinkles there. Black pepper, same thing here, right? Nothing crazy. I'm not a world-class chef yet. I'm not going to be wowing my friends and family until I say, wait a second, how can I spice this up really fast? Everything bagel seasoning, aka the cheat code to become a world-class chef in 7 seconds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bam! I just seasoned it. That is going to be some tasty chicken. Joking aside, the everything bagel seasoning is actually really good to throw on eggs. You can throw it on just about everything. It just has a lot of different flavors. There's garlic, there's poppy seeds, there's a lot of different things in here that very quickly can add a little bit of flavor to something that might be dull. So I've got my chicken, it's seasoned. My oven's already on at 400. My potatoes have already got in there. The potatoes have a head start. I'm going to now throw my chicken in. And I'm going to run a timer for 35 minutes. That's when I want to check my chicken and pull the chicken out. The potatoes are going to go substantially longer, so I'm going to hit the timer. And I'm going to say 35 minutes. And again, I want to hit start, otherwise it's just going to think like, hey, when are we starting this project? And I'm going to hit start. So I'm going to run the chicken for 35 minutes, the potatoes for closer to 70. And then again, that may vary based on the size of the potatoes. If you don't like potatoes with the skin on them, then you have to do one extra step, which is to peel them. You can cook the potatoes other ways, you can boil them, but this is the simplest way, again, getting as much done in as little time as possible so you don't have to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours every week doing this meal prep. And the more you do it, just like anything else, you'll systematically just become better at it just through sheer repetition. So now we're going to swing back over. We'll take a look at what's the next thing on our list for our 90-minute meal prep hack. And I'm very confident that you'll be able to accomplish this in under 90 minutes. All right, so we have our chicken and our potatoes in there. We've got our timer running. We're going to now work on the rice portion of it. So I need to, have my kettle or my pot that the rice is going to go into, right? I guess depending where you're from, you might call this a kettle. If you're a little bit more familiar with the kitchen, you might call it a pot. All right. And all of this, my friends, is written right into your PDF. So if you have not printed off your success playbook, do so and look for the page that is 90 minutes or less meal prep hack. Super simple. What I'm going to do is 1.5 cups of water to 1 cup of dry rice. So if my math is correct, that means I'm going to need 3 cups of water for 2 cups of dry rice. So I grab my water. Take a big swig of it. Just kidding, I wouldn't do that. I would eat the cucumber raw, but I'm not going to drink out of that water. Okay, so we've got 2 cups. Got a little math lesson for us here too. All right. That means I need 1 more cup. Great. I now have 3 cups of water. Now I need 2 cups of dry rice. So I have my bag of dry rice. I have my cucumber. I took a bite out of it. I'm going to move that over here. I'm going to tear a small hole in the bag of rice. I'm going to grab my dry measuring cup. I'm going to hold it over the pot. That way if I spill any, it goes in there. Oh. And I'm going to measure out 1 and change. And again, if we're not super precise, 2. That's alright, because where we need to be precise is when we're putting it into our trays and when we're eating it. So if this is 2.1 cups of rice and it should have been 2 on the nose, that's alright, because once we cook it, we're going to then measure it out before it goes into our individual meal trays, or if we're going to put it into a big container for the week, we're not going to be worried about it until we actually start getting ready to ingest it. Safety tip, don't start your oven if you have all your spices still on the oven top. Again, your wife will thank you for that. Melted spice containers don't make for a great conversation over dinner. I understand firefighters need to eat too, and insurance agents need to have policies out there, but let's not set the place on fire. So we have our rice, it's on the stove, we followed our ratios. Now what we're going to do is turn the burner on to a medium setting. So that's high, we're going to turn it down a little bit. So we're multitasking. We're making sure that we're getting as many things done in this block of time as possible. So again, in the oven, you've got your chicken going, you've got your potatoes going, you've got your rice going, you've got a full fridge full of vegetables, you've got all the other protein columns, such as I'm looking at our cottage cheese, I'm looking at our Greek yogurt, our egg whites. I also purchased a 3-pound package of ground beef, so I can show you what we would do with that, which would be to grab a large frying pan, bring that up to the stove, come back over, grab my 3 pounds of ground beef, exit stage left, exit re-enter stage right. Busy guy, somebody wanted to know, hey John, where'd you get that ground beef? Price Chopper. Alright, now we're going to do the patented John Plop. You guys saw it once with the chicken, you're going to see it now with the ground beef. Boom. And again, be a good meal prepper. Don't throw your stuff on the floor, don't leave it for your girlfriend or whoever to pick up after you. Make sure you pick up after yourself. Not only will they be impressed that you cooked all this food for the week, but you also didn't make a pigsty out of the places you're going. So that's important too, right? Because we have all the meal prep that we're doing, but what about the cleanup on the back end? So as we clean up as we go, the process on the tail end won't be quite as lengthy or as involved. So now what I'm going to do with that is I can season that with whatever seasonings I like, salt, pepper, anything that does not have a caloric value to it, I can add that to it. Again, the whole premise of our meal plan is that we're eating those foods because we have done the math for you to make sure that they fall into a caloric range that'll help you lose body fat. So if we start saying, well, I like my ground beef with 10 other things thrown on top of it, we add more calories to it, that's not going to be ideal. So what we're going to take a look at now is imagine a cooking show where 30 to 45 minutes later, poof, everything was done. We don't have that quite yet, we're working on it. But other things that I want to add to are, as you're doing your meal prep, start to understand, hey, I should have 2 breakfasts that I rotate back and forth between, because if I'm trying to have 5 different breakfasts going at the same time, it's going to be overwhelming. All right, every day I'm not going to show what I'm going to have. So I would tell you 1 to 2 go-to breakfasts that fit your meal plan is ideal. Have 1 or 2 lunches that fit your meal plan. Each week you can prep out, right? What I would do with this is, for my lunch, is I would go and have a serving of my broccoli. I would have the appropriate serving size of my ground beef, and then maybe I would do that for 2 lunches in a row. And then I'm like, man, I've had so much ground beef, I don't know what to do now. Great, what's in the oven? What's in the oven is chicken. So then I could say, all right, I've had ground beef, now let me do chicken, and then Friday I could go back to ground beef. Same thing with your carbohydrate. If you're like, I've had so much rice, I don't know what to do with myself, well great, what's in the oven? Sweet potatoes. So we want to make sure we usually have 2, 3 at the most, and I think 2 is the sweet spot, of your staple proteins, your staple carbohydrates, and veggies. You can have a big conglomeration of different things there. Again, having other things to help you for your breakfast, such as the Greek yogurt, the egg whites, the cottage cheese, those are all really good things. Another great thing is you have your protein, your whey protein. You can start the day with a protein shake and then have breakfast and then have lunch. Maybe you work out later in the day, have your protein shake and then dinner. It is not as important the order that you have your 3 meals and 2 shakes, it is much more important that you have your 3 meals and 2 shakes. So again, you can change the order of those meals, right? Maybe you have a really wild work shift and things don't line up perfect, like an average 24-hour day for most individuals. You can say, hey, maybe I had shake, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or you had breakfast, shake, lunch, and dinner. As long as you're getting your 3 meals in and your 2 shakes in, that's what we care about. So the whole purpose of the meal prepping was to say, hey, how can I get this process done as quickly as possible? So other things that you could be doing while this is going on is we can come back over in this direction. We could be taking the cucumbers, we could be peeling the cucumbers. I just did this the other day, peeled a bunch of cucumbers and then sliced them up, and then I put them into, again, having a nice, clean, ready to go Tupperware where I can peel and slice 4 or 5 cucumbers. Now I have those, and you know that on your meal plan that you can have as many cucumbers as you want. You're not going to slow down your results by having 2 or 3 cucumbers a day. Now if we go back to my friend the couscous, and you say, yeah, I had 2 or 3 servings of couscous just for lunch, we're going to slow things down. You could also be putting your things away, right? I know that I just have them out on the counter right now because I wanted to show you guys what we're working with and what the grocery haul was. So overall, the overarching theme is get right to work when you come through that door. Get some music on, get the oven rolling, get as many things cooking at one time as possible, and then during this time, I'm looking at the timer, I've got another 27 minutes before the chicken is done, I can go ahead and I can be working on some other things. I can be mapping out my week. What workouts am I going to do this week? What days of the week am I going to do this workout? Maybe I can get outside and I can walk on some of those other days. Maybe I can do my weekly reflection on my tracking sheets as these items are cooking. So hey, everything's on the stove and it's going. That's a great time to go back to your weekly rhythm tracker, which we know is a huge part of the success, and fill in, hey, it's Sunday, I'm doing my meal prep on Sunday. What went well this week? My meal prepping. This is the first time I've ever done it in my entire life. Awesome, virtual high five. What area needs focus? I need to make sure I get my workouts in, or maybe I need to adjust my sleep. What could have made that easier for you? Well, if I had not started watching a Netflix show at 10:30, my sleep would have been better. Or if I had mapped out the days of the week that I was going to do workouts, maybe that would have been better for me for my workout side of things. So these are really great things that you can piggyback off of being very, very productive at the same time. So you have this downtime while your food is cooking. Again, you can do a lot of great things. Maybe you're catching up on your laundry. Maybe you're just planning out the week. The majority of us usually do our meal prep on Sundays. That doesn't have to be the case in point. Maybe you have a job where you have Tuesday and Wednesday off. Great, do your meal prepping on Wednesday. The process that we followed would be exactly the same. All this can be found in your MV Wellness Success Playbook, where our goal is to make you happy and healthy, to educate you, inspire you to lead amazing lives. If you have any questions, if you're struggling with this, you can go back to the members area and you can book a call with a success coach who will walk you through this one-on-one. You can also book a block of one-on-one coaching where you have a coaching call every single week that has maximum accountability. So if you're watching this and you feel overwhelmed, if you don't know where to start, you're like, this is really good and I like it, but I just need somebody to help me through it, again, you can do a one-time coaching call or you can do a full block of nutrition lifestyle coaching where you have maximum accountability. Either way, guys, make sure you're doing great things. I want to make sure I don't burn the chicken. It's been a pleasure putting this video together, and if you have questions, ask us.